Welcome to Trinity Youth. My name is Marissa, and I'm honored to be on staff here at Trinity just since the new year. Because we have never formally met in person, I would like to introduce myself with a few fun facts so that maybe one day you can tell me a fun fact about yourself. I love spicy food, reading sci-fi novels, and big fluffy dogs. Last week, Judson also spoke about big fluffy dogs, but more than that, he talked about how God was walking alongside the Israelites all throughout their journey, that he was never far away. That means today we are jumping into the story on page 83. Moses and his people have been walking for a long time. And the end of this section of chapter 6, it talks about God asking Moses to hike up a mountain that has a great view of all the land God has promised them. Moses can see so far in every direction, he has finally led the people home. I think to understand better what Moses and the Israelites are feeling, we should get outside and go for a hike together. Moses has led his people out of Egypt because of God's grace and direction. Moses parts the Red Sea, he performs miracles, and he leads his people even when they doubt God. But God knows that they're not ready yet for the great future he has planned for them. We truly understand the weight of something when we appreciate it, earn it, and the timing is right. So the Israelites continue to trek. As the Israelites are on their journey to the land God has promised them, they make mistakes, break rules, doubt. But all that does not disqualify them from the goodness God has planned. After years of walking, never having a place to go home, God tells Moses that it's time. He asks Moses to walk to the top of a mountain that has this most beautiful lookout. God says to him, "This is the land I promised you." Have you ever struggled waiting patiently for something that you asked God for? That season of unknown waiting can be so hard. You can feel lost, hopeless, and confused. It can be hard to give your trust over to God. It can be hard to understand his plan. But there will be a top of a mountain for you. There will be a lookout spot waiting for you. In Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 to 6, it says to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. It must have felt really great for Moses to stand on top of a mountain and look in every direction as far as his eyes can see, that one thing he was patiently waiting for. Moses trusted God and the plan that he had for him and his people. He waited patiently and prayed from the bottom of his heart. There are many things that we can learn from Moses, but his trust in God's plan is something I aspire to have in my own life. As some of you may know, I am from Ontario, and when I accepted this job offer, within 6 days, I packed up everything and started to drive. I drove all the way across Canada to Kelowna. I started driving even though I didn't even know yet where I would be staying when I got here. All I knew was that God had provided me with this incredible job that I prayed so long for, and he would also help me find a place too. Do you ever feel like you're wandering, not sure what step God wants you to take next? I can kind of relate to Moses and the Israelites. They were wandering for 40 years, praying for this land that they believed God would provide for them. I only drove for 7 days, not quite the same as 40 years of walking, but the same purpose and belief was there, that God had an incredible plan for their lives and he would provide a place to call home, a promised land. It feels wild that my own story can be so similar to a story in the Bible. But the more we look at stories in the Bible, the more we can see ourselves in those situations. We can see what God says to the people in those stories. We can see what he's also telling us. For me, God had given me this incredible job and found me a great apartment too. For the Israelites, they had made it to the land that God had promised them. In Jeremiah 29:11, it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." I want you to remember this. God has such a cool plan for your life. He's making a way for you, and he is walking alongside you. For years and years, the main thing I would pray would be, God, I know you have an awesome plan for my life, and I want that. Please help me to hear your voice, and please help me to have the courage to follow it. Just as God had a great plan for the Israelites, he also has a great plan for you.